Brothers, I pray everyone is doing well out there. Let me make sure the stream is popping off on TikTok. You dig? Boom, it says I'm live right now. That's what I needed to see. I pray everybody is doing well out here. I'd like to welcome everybody to day six. Day six of The Artist Way. Day 6 of The Artist Way. Now, it took me some time to get here, you dig? I initially started streaming on Twitch, and then, I upped my technology so I could stream on Twitch and YouTube, and then I had to take it to this final level, you dig? We on Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok Live at this moment. Sometimes it just makes sense to knock out, you know what I'm saying, multiple birds with one stone, you heard me? So, shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody on YouTube, you did, you know what I'm saying? Let's super fan up. I already told you I'm trying to get out of the trenches and the ghettos of the freemium tier of YouTube so I can stream without running commercials. Shout out to everybody on Twitch, to you dig, you know what I'm saying? Sub up, sub up, sub up. And shout out to my TikTok family. I'm broadcasting live from Brooklyn, New York, and I just got to give thanks and praise. I got to say alhamdulillah. Shout out to my ancestors. I did day 2 at the International African Arts Festival today. Now, yesterday I performed, me and my partner. Shout out to my soul brother, Chin Lo. You heard me? The other half of Soul Science Lab, the organization, the business, the music group of which I am a co-founder. We performed yesterday at the International African Arts Festival. It was absolutely amazing, magnetic, explosive, abundant, melanated. The sun was out, the weather was good, the brothers was out, beautiful women was out, the children was out, the grannies was out, the grandpas was out. It was just intergenerational abundance. And I got to share my gift. I got to rock out with people, which is truly, 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 truly a blessing. And it was a re-energizing that I desperately needed. So praise God for that. I don't have much time. I'm actually getting ready to leave town. I'm flying out to Denver, Colorado early in the morning, 6 a.m. in the morning for an education conference I'm presenting at. But in the interim, I have to uphold my commitment. And the commitment I'm subjecting myself to is streaming for 30 days straight on YouTube. Really, I think I'm gonna go live on everything. Now that I figured out how to do it on Streamlab, I can simultaneously stream on Twitch, YouTube. Do you know this? Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. So I just want to make sure this is working. I'm gonna go to Asante. Yep, he's streaming live. He's looking down on himself. Shout out to everybody on the TikTok. Let me put the TikTok up so I can holler at people. You heard me? Shout out to everybody on the TikTok. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. This is absolutely tremendous. I really love the fact that I can stream live on YouTube, on Twitch, and on TikTok. Because as I said before, I'm focused on cultivating an audience on YouTube. TikTok is always experiencing changes. We all love TikTok. TikTok has a tremendous algorithm, and I've cultivated a community on it. But it's a platform we don't own, and it's always subject to all of these changes because it's a Chinese-owned company. The authorities are always playing with us, and you can't put all your eggs in one basket when it comes to the social media thing. In all actuality, as content creators, as entrepreneurs, as creators, we need to always be trying to figure out how we can go directly to our audience. So although these platforms are beautiful and they're amazing, this is a reminder to myself that I have to continue to cultivate my email, my website, and just direct communication with the family I'm cultivating and creating on these platforms. Shout out to Mello. Peace, Queen. Peace, peace, peace. Sacred Sound. Yeah, so for the month of July, I started reading The Artist Way. You dig? Really phenomenal book by Julia Cameron. And on July 1st, I started streaming every day. I've been streaming every day this week, you dig, and just covering The Artist Way. So I'm going to actually start the exercises in a book tomorrow. For the past week, I've just been doing the introduction, really prepping myself, prepping my brain to get ready to embark on this journey. And yeah, really just kind of like stretching. Before your workout, before you go to the gym, you got to do your stretches. You got to get yourself in the mindset to do the exercises. And so that's what I did this week, reading the preliminary materials, kind of wrapping my brain around like what is to come, so that so that I can successfully navigate this path, you dig. And so I got maybe a page or two in the introduction that we're going to finish tonight. I've been reading intro and just talking through it. Like I said, I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time because I got an early flight in the morning. You heard me. Without further ado, let's get into it. Thank you for joining me. The Real Sahana. Peace. Oh my God. Just got the #1 gift. I appreciate that. I need all of the love. I need all of the love out here, you dig? You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to read a little bit. But even before I read, I want to talk about some of the quotes I saw that just make sense. Now, this is why you should get this book. And I'm about to start selling this motherfucker in the TikTok shop. Real talk. And I love the TikTok shop because you can actually promote products that you personally just really resonate with. And it's a couple of books. It's The Artist Way. It's As a Man Thinketh by John Allen. It's literature that I'm reading that I see in the TikTok shop. This book is so amazing because not only is it about cultivating your artistry, cultivating your creativity, but it's a form of therapy. A lot of what she's outlining has to do with just confronting blockages within yourself, learning to live more in a more vulnerable state, and taking the creative aesthetic that as an artist I would apply to music, but then translating that to the way I design my life, right? Because ultimately our lives are our biggest masterpieces. And we have to figure out how to design those with intentionality, with love, with openness. And as an artist, one thing I felt for a long time is like you have to have best practices in order to replenish what you take creatively so you don't feel depleted. A lot of times as artists, we give of ourselves and we feel depleted. We have Christ conscious. We have Christ complex, I should say, you dig? We die so others can live. So this book is all about understanding how to sustainably, holistically take care of yourself, cultivate yourself to live a more creative life, not necessarily for artistic discipline, but as a living practice. So I'm gonna read through the last page or two, and then I'm gonna just talk about it a little bit. But a couple of quotes in here I found really interesting were like this is a Pablo Picasso quote, and it says, "Every child is an artist. The problem is how to remain an artist once they grow up." That's so real. That's so real, right? We're all battling between logical brain and artist brain. And to me, those who get the most of life, they figure out how to synthesize the two. They figure out how to live in that wonderment of youthfulness in terms of just being in awe at life, but they figure out how to do it responsibly enough where they can still take care of themselves and live freely. You know what I'm saying? The most potent muse of all is our own inner child. And to me, that's one of the beautiful things about therapy. Even it's always returning you back to your childhood. It's always returning you back to a state of purity and innocence before trauma, before we had to adopt these layers of things that weren't helpful. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. You heard me? You dig? Let's start over here. In order to function in the language of art, we must learn to live in it comfortably. The language of art is image, symbol. It is a wordless language, even when our very art is to chase it with words. The artist language is a sensual one, language of felt experience. When we work at our art, we dip into the well of our experience and scoop out images. Because we do this, we need to learn how to put images back. How do we fill the well? We feed it images. Art is an artist brain pursuit. The artist brain is our image brain. home and haven to our best creative impulses. The artist brain cannot be reached or triggered effectively by words alone. The artist brain is the sensory brain, sight and sound, smell and taste, touch. These are the elements of magic, and magic is the elemental stuff of art. In filling the well, think magic. I love that. In filling the well, think magic. Think delight. Think fun. Do not think duty. Do not do what you should do. Spiritual sit-ups like reading a dull but recommended critical text. Do what intrigues you. Explore what interests you. Think mystery, not mastery. This was such a turning point to me because I think even in my artistic practice as a horn player, I've sought mastery so often. I've tried to be really, really good from a technical perspective. And in doing so, I neglected the mystery. I neglected the sensual. I neglected the feeling nature, right? And I feel like one thing therapy did for me, it got me back in my body. It got me back in tune with my feelings, right? So even this idea of like, you're not seeking mastery, you're inviting mystery into your life, and you're having the faith and the confidence in the process to not get worried or scared when you don't know exactly what's going on, right? It requires the development of different kind of intangible muscles. A mystery draws us in, leads us on, lures us. When I think about mystery, I think about love too, right? I think about intimacy and how some are scared of intimacy and even self-intimacy with themselves. A duty may numb us out, turn us off, tune us out. In filling the well, follow your sense of the mysterious, not your sense of what you should know more about. A mystery can be very simple. If I drive this road, not my usual road, what will I see? Changing a known route throws us into the now. We become refocused on the visible, visual world. Sight leads to insight. That's so important. She said something very simple, but this resonates with me, and I'm going to tell you why. I've been one of those individuals sometimes, like, I can have anxiety in social settings. So I'll like premeditate, like, okay, I'll say this, I'll do this. If it gets too uncomfortable, I'll go home, I'll leave. And I think what this is requiring us to think about is like we're protected and safe wherever we are. And that a lot of what we pray for, a lot of what we want to manifest is going to be the result of us being faithful and sure in uncertain situations. And on the other side of that, the universe is going to reward us with something beautiful and amazing. You dig? And really, that is the creative process, because a lot of times when you go to create, you don't be knowing what the fuck is happening, but you just flow. You just keep going, and you allow yourself to be a vessel. You know what I'm saying? It's not about mastery. It's about being comfortable in the mystery. A mystery can be even simpler than that. Oh, hold on. A mystery can be very simple, right? A mystery can be simpler even than that. If I light this stick of incense, what will I feel? Scent is an often overlooked pathway to powerful associations and healings. The scent of Christmas at any time of year, or the scent of fresh bread or homemade soup, can nourish the hungry artist within. Some sounds lull us in, others stimulate us. 10 minutes of listening to a great piece of music can be a very effective meditation. 5 minutes of barefoot dancing to drum music can send our artists into a play-free day refresh. Filling the well needn't be a novelty. Cooking can fill the well. When we chop and pare vegetables, we do so with our thoughts as well. Remember, art is an artist brain pursuit. Art is an artist brain pursuit. What does that mean? What do y'all think that means? Art is an artist brain pursuit. What does that mean? What do y'all think that means? If you're still here, if you're still here with me. Any regular, hold on, she says, the brain is reached through rhythm, through rhyme, not reason. I like that. That's a bar. Let me underline that. Y'all already know I write in my motherfucking books. I gotta stop cussing because TikTok will cut this shit off if I cuss too much. TikTok will cut it off on me. Scraping a carrot, peeling an apple. These actions are quite literally food for thought. Any regular repetitive action primes the well. Writers have heard many woeful tales of the Bronte sisters and poor Jane Austen forced to hide their stories under their needlework. I have no idea who they are, but I'm going to look them up. A little experiment with some mending can cast a whole new light on these activities. Whoa, what's happening enough for today? I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I'm reading The Artist Way. It's a little book, you know what I'm saying? And I'm doing a triple stream right now. I'm going to Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. Needlework, by definition, regular and repetitive, both soothes and stimulates the artist within. Whole plots can be stitched up while we sew. As artists, we can very literally reap. As artists, we can very literally reap what we sow. Why do I get my best ideas in the shower? An exacerbated Einstein is said to have remarked. I can read, y'all. I can read. Okay. Brain research now tells us that it is because showering is an artist brain activity. Oh my God. I get the best ideas in the shower. I don't know about y'all. It's so real that I keep my phone next to the toilet so that when I get the idea, I can grab it, cut on the voice memos, and sing to myself. That's how real showers are. And it's something, I'm an Aquarius. It's something about the water. It's something about being in water or close to water that really activates like my creativity. Even washing dishes, I love washing dishes. I love the sound of water. And I always said when the paper was right, when I got to that bag, I would build a fountain in my house. You know what I'm saying? Inshallah, God willing. Showering, swimming, scrubbing, shaving, steering a car. So many S-like yes words. All of these are regular, repetitive activities that may tip us over from our logic brain into our more creative artist brain. That's so real, even driving. I love to just cruise. Solutions to sticky, creative problems may bubble up through the dishwasher, emerge on a freeway just as we are executing a trick emerge. Learn which of these works best for you and use it. Many artists have found it useful to keep a notepad or a tape recorder next to them as they drive. Facts. Steven Spielberg claims that his very best ideas have come to him as he was driving the freeways. This is no accident. Negotiating the flow of traffic. He was an artist immersed in an oncoming, ever-altering flow of images. Images trigger the artist's brain. Images fill the well. That's so interesting to me. Images. This is why I think everybody, but as an artist, like I really love going to museums. I love going to places to see new art because it just triggers and invites new melodies, new rhythms into my brain. You know what I'm saying? And I'm one of those people, like, if I see, even the art behind me, when I see it, I hear music. You know, I hear sounds. Anyway, our focused attention is critical to filling the well. We need to encounter our life experiences, not ignore them. Many of us read compulsively to screen our awareness. On a crowded train, we train our attention on a newspaper, losing the sight and sounds around us. All images for the well. This is interesting. This is interesting. So with that being said, I wrapped up the preliminary work for The Artist Way. Inside the book, there's a contract. And I just remembered I forgot to bring my notebook with me. There's a notebook I travel with and I just keep by my side that I don't have. And I meant to get one while I was out, and I totally forgot. I was having too much fun outside, and I forgot to get it. I was having too much fun outside, and I forgot to get it. Um, Shout out to all two of y'all in the building right now. I appreciate you for sticking around. But on that note, I'm about to call it a night. I just wanted to stream because I'm committed to streaming every day at some point on my YouTube, and I figured out a way to stream from YouTube to the TikTok, kind of knocking out two birds with one stone. With that being said, I will bid you a good night. Pray you have a great night. Pray you're doing well, and I'm going to holler at you when I holler at you. All right now. Peace and love.